Hello everybody, welcome to our tapestry painting. We're doing acrylics and we're going to be using our inspiration from Urban Outfitters. If you want to go in there, tapestries are becoming very popular to hang in rooms versus hanging wallpaper. It's just so much easier to hang a big tapestry in a room than to apply wallpaper to a wall. And the fun part about it is the grommets. Everybody loves the grommets. That's the newest thing. You look on Anthropology and stuff, some of the new artwork is hanging with grommets. And so you guys are on the cutting edge of what's popular. Today, our acrylic tapestry will be, we've already traced our pattern. So I'm going to just jump in and start with the gesso and filling in our pattern. We're going to fill it all in white as a base coat. Otherwise, our colors will not show up on the black paint, okay? So we need to fill it in with the white gesso. And hopefully you saw the gesso versus the white paint. The gesso should be marked on the lid, saying it's gesso.
Debbie, I didn't know that we were supposed to trace.
I'm sorry. It was in the email several times and even on the handout. So okay. Beth, go ahead and start doing that. Okay. I wanted to let you know this is fancy, expensive transfer paper that the library bought just for this class. It is called Sarral. If you ever want to do it, they come in different colors, black, red, and white. And because we needed to do the black, we had black background, we needed to buy white. Otherwise, I would have sent a carbon paper in with you, in with your kit. So if you want to look online and buy that, if you ever want to do, this is good for more than one tracing. So it's just like the carbon paper, it lasts a long time. Okay, I'm going to switch to my camera. Okay, this is my real butterfly that I found on the ground. And I just brought him inside and put him in my nest. I've got other butterflies in here. I just collect little things. I collect the eggs in nature and stuff that didn't hatch from last year and put them under domes in my living room. So it's kind of fun. So as we get closer to painting the butterfly, I'll bring him back in and use that as a prop. So you'll notice you only get 2 brushes today. You don't need anything fine. We will spend most of our time with our blue brush and we will pounce to death with it. Okay, let me put that aside. There's the pattern. Hopefully you all traced yours. If not, just you can freehand it too. There's no need for you to have to trace it. It's just that it makes it easier. Let me zoom out. You're not able to see. Okay, maybe I'll stay in because you can see it better. We're just going to start at the top and we're going to use the gesso. And gesso is a primer, and some of you have gesso on your canvas and others have just spray painted black. And so we need to protect and make a coating on our canvas. And to do that, we're just going to use the gesso and you just start filling it in with white. You'll notice it's going to be a rough looking painting, meaning that the edges aren't as clean as you would like it. That's okay. When the overall tapestry is painted, it looks really great. If you haven't traced it, just go ahead and freehand it along with us. You'll be able to just keep up doing that. Okay, so our moon is done. And then I'm going to jump over to this big mushroom over here on the right. And the gesso is nice because it's thinner than the white paint. It also is very opaque. and it fills in the crevices. If you were doing an archival piece, you would take the time to sand the canvas after you've painted it with your black gesso and sand it down to get all the burrs off. But since this is just, it's not really artist canvas, it is drop cloth canvas from Home Depot. So you'll notice that it's pretty stringy. There's a lot of furry parts on it. So we are not able to get as crisp as we want, but it's sufficient. Okay, so see how easy that is to just fill in the shapes? Continue wherever you want, doesn't matter. I'm gonna go left to right since I'm right-handed. And even if you mess up on the gesso by not getting it to all the corners, when you do apply the paint, you'll be able to refine your design. Okay. Okay, so I want to show you something. This stem comes all the way to the butterfly, and then it jumps down here. I just want to let you know that that's the stem. Oh, you can't see that. Right there, below the butterfly, the two stems of these mushrooms meet right there. So if I were to do this one, it's right here, and it goes like this. Those are two mushroom stems down here below the butterfly. This is going to be really fun to hang, I don't know, somewhere, out on a porch or something. I think it'd be cool. So just starting at the top, we're going to go start filling in. The fun thing is this is all white, but when you add the color of the paint, it just comes to life. It's really pretty. If you're freehanding it, just refer to the photo for placement. By the time we get to the other side of the picture, we'll be able to start painting at the top because it'll be dry enough to add the color on top. You probably also have to pick off things off of your canvas. I was outside spraying these outside of the library. So you might have some twigs and threads and things that you need to take off. Okay. I'm going to jump up to the top. And honestly, you can do it however it turns out is unique to you. No one's going to see what we made or what we copied, what we invented, but you. So honestly, if you don't put all the leaves in, it doesn't matter. No one's going to compare yours and mine. So you just do the best you can. This all gets, there's no space in here. This is all white. Going all the way over to the snail. You guys have lots of little seashells, snail things. I don't know what they're called here. In Oregon, we call them slugs, but they didn't have the shell. Here they've got shells. But in my garden, I have a lot of them. I have to fight them for the lettuce. One thing I noticed on the pattern that was missing is on both sides of his head, there's a little, on the left there's a little kind of pointy thing, and on the right there will be too, but you don't have to do the gesso out that far. You don't want to. I'm starting on the butterfly, or the moth. Part of tracing the pattern, it gives you a memory of where things are. So when we start painting it, you'll be able to remember what you traced and what it belonged to. That's very helpful. Okay, so the wing is, there's black background fabric that pokes through here. So make sure that your wings do not touch each other, they're separated. They're separated by the body. Craig from the Guadalupe State Park, that's his name. He used to come and do the young naturalists at the library. And so he did a thing on birds once, and that's when he told me that you shouldn't take bird's nests out of the wild. I guess there are some species that, even though their species didn't make the nest, they'll reuse a nest. I'm just really scrubbing that gesso into all the fibers. Because if you don't, then the paint has to go in there. This way, the paint sits on top, you use less paint, your paint goes further, and it doesn't get saturated by the black color. Okay, here's the head of the snail. And I'm not going to do details like lines on here. That's for at the end. But I am going to do, I'm basing in the little bluebells. Just the ones that stick up in the air here. There's bluebells down below, but they're in the leaf, and so we won't even draw those. They'll just get covered up. Okay, so I need to look at my picture. Oh yeah. So, okay. I think I need to, oh, that's the snail. That's about right. I was just checking if I needed to fill this in with greenery, but I think it's black background. Okay. These flowers are not, none of the foliage is like real. It's kind of pretend. We have things similar in nature, but these are not exact. Nor does our moon ever look like that. So maybe this is in a fantasy or folk tale. Sorry, I guess there were some people in the waiting room still. Okay.
Well,
oh, was that you, Stephanie?
Of all things.
I know. I saw your name up there, and I thought you were in the class. I am so sorry.
That's all right.
So, can you catch up with us? Hold on, I'm going to pause this. We're still continuing to base the gesso. You guys have any questions about the gesso? How it's responding, how it's filling in? Do you know what gesso is? All that?
Not exactly. What is gesso?
It's a primer for canvas. So canvas, when we give you those boards, when we do like an acrylic class and you get a board with canvas and it's all ready to paint on, the gesso's already been applied to the canvas fabric. And it is to keep the paints from absorbing into the cloth, okay? So many times you can go ahead and still use white. Many painters use white gesso as their white in painting because it's less expensive than their acrylic paint, and you still get the same results. But by itself, it is a primer for canvas. That's what its primary thing is. And so you can get canvas boards that are primed, and that's what it means, is that it's already got the gesso on it. Some people like to put their own gesso on or want a natural canvas, and so then they buy the unprimed canvases. So that's the difference.
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, now this blue bell does stick up above the green, so I'm just doing the top of it, and then I'm going back in and combining it with the green leaf that's underneath. So it's just got that little hump at the top.
Debbie, are we using the flat brush?
Yeah, the blue ugly flat brush that's a scrubber kind of, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I shouldn't call it ugly. It has been the workhorse of all our projects this summer. It is a very inexpensive brush, but it actually has done remarkably well. We've used it for watercolor and our acrylics, and just about every class I've included one of them in there. But they don't last very long. They'll start to fray and splay out. So they're not meant to be last more than a couple classes, really.
And I take it this is very lightly?
You can do it. What I'm trying to do is cover all the little holes. I don't want to see any black holes. So you do it thick enough to do that. And we can paint over it wet, that's fine. It's most important just to go through, get all those black holes filled in. Does that make sense? If you go lightly, you're going to see that it doesn't seep into the canvas. You have to pretty well pounce and apply a generous amount of the gesso. So I've almost used this whole cup of gesso. And we don't have to worry about a real fine line around the black edges. So let me check again, make sure no one's in the waiting room. I want to do that again. Good, we're good. This big leaf down here just runs right into the mushroom stem. If you run out of gesso, before you have finished it all, just go ahead and do a watery mix of white paint. That will also do the trick too, to fill it in. But you do need a white background for the colors. Okay, here we go. We're gonna start painting. I'm gonna grab my gold paint and my yellow paint. It's gonna be kind of, hopefully you have both. If not, the gold's fine. You can add a little white if you don't have it. I'm using a wet brush, and I'm just gonna go in and base. And this is a little thick. You want to add a little water to make the paint a little more pliable. Now our goal is to cover up all the white. Now it will start mixing with the wet gesso, and that's really fine. You can just go over with strong color to make it go back to the gold that we're looking for. While we've got gold on our paintbrush, we're gonna base the butterfly too, or the moth too. Get his base coat on there so we can add different stripes and colors to him. I call it a him. It could be a her. You don't know. It's a little difficult to fill in, to make a fine, concise, precise outline. Just do the best you can. And I have found that making it kind of cream consistency, the paint a little bit thinner than normal, fills in the crevices of the black a little bit easier. So if you're having trouble with a lot of black showing next to the line, try thinning the paint a little bit. Now I didn't use any yellow on this moon, and I think on the actual one I did. So I'm going to go back and just highlight. We don't use much yellow in the whole thing, but I'm going to just highlight yellow on one side. Okay. Then while we've got yellow in or the gold in our paintbrush, we're going to base the moth. Since this one is such a wide area, I think I may turn back to the other brush. Yeah. It would take forever to fill it in with this green brush. I'm going to rinse that out. Don't leave your paintbrushes in the water container. That bends the bristles. Just lay it down. And then pick up your blue brush. And we're just going to base the moth in. As you can see, it's just blending with the gesso, and that's okay. Oops, see, I went out of the line over here, so I'm going to have to make a new. Do the best you can.
Is that yellow or gold you're using?
I'm using gold.
Thank you.
Everybody should have yellow ochre in their kit. And at this point, it doesn't matter whether it's up or down, left or right. Your painting movements really don't show up on this that much. He's got this little body. Let me show you. He's got this little body here that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 little rings. So we're going to do that. We're going to, so as I'm coloring this or painting this in, I'm doing distinct little rings. The brush stroke does matter here, I guess is what I'm saying. We'll be able to define that with our shadows. Jump over to the other side. Now see up here, I don't know if you can see that. Let me go see if I can get in here. I want to just show you. This is very jaggedy, but if I thin my paint and then go back over it, it fills it in pretty nice. So if you've got a jaggedy line because your paint was dry, just go over it a little wetter and it works. Just fill it in willy-nilly, doesn't matter. That's an artistic term, right? Willy-nilly. Again, I've got to make it soft, creamy, watery, creamy. to go around this corner. And go back in here. Okay, good. Of course, we lost the placement of our dots and lines and things, but we'll be able to do that later. You know what, let's just finish him while we've got, well, no, we should let it dry for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna rinse out my blue brush and I'm gonna go into the red to make the mushroom tops. And I want you to refer to the line on the pattern, because the color dips down in places. It's not a perfect circle for this mushroom over here on the left. Let me move my pattern. There we go. Okay, I'm sticking with the blue brush because it just goes faster. If I need to, I'll switch to the detail brush. Depending on how thick your red is. Okay, so I'm gonna work on this bottom corner just to do that line. So it dips down here and then really dips down and then goes across, does one more little divot, dip down, and then across. Again, it's blending with the gesso. In an ideal world, if you were doing this again on your own, you would wait till the gesso's dried. Just so you don't get pink mushrooms. Okay. That's our first mushroom. And if it's a little pink, that's fine. There we go. We can go over it again later with more red as we move on. We're just establishing the base coat. Going to do this other one. Now that next one has red down here along the bottom. So I don't know if I trust myself to do it with this blue brush. It's just got a ring. I think I might change to the green brush for that. And then it comes around on this side too. Then I'm back to the blue brush over here. Okay, this line on this mushroom does wiggle, but it's not as dramatic as the one above. So do not do a straight line. We'll save that for the other one. It just dips. And I'm going to go with the green brush around the top of it, just to give it definition. Okay. Then I'm going to jump over to this other mushroom. Okay, so this mushroom kind of it goes up and then it comes down. And it kind of flares out. I'll go ahead and just outline it since I've got the green brush already wet. Might have got. I'm going to cover up this little bit with green. I went over too far. I'm done with the red, so I'm just rinsing out my brushes. I'll come back to it to do the orange over here on the left. But right now, just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna pause it, the recording, and let you guys catch up. Okay, moving on, we're going to be basing our green, and we're going to be using the dark green, and we'll base all this green down here, and these palm leaves at the bottom. So again, I'm going to start with the bristle brush because it works fastest. But if I can't get good lines, then I'll go back to the green brush to highlight, to go around the edges. You just go in real easily, covering up the gesso. The nice thing about using the blue brush is that those bristles were made to fit that shape already. You've already painted it once with this brush, so it's kind of just fills in automatically, honestly. They're pretty easy. You can correct any misshapen leaves at this point. If we go into the snail territory, that's okay. Just remember that it's just a circle. So if you want to just go around like that, you can do that with the snail. Let me zoom in just a bit. Right now it's going to be just solid leaves. When we do the shadows or the dry brushing with the light green, it kind of identifies the separate leaves or fronds or whatever it is. Okay, the next part that's green is down at the bottom left. This is like a ginger plant. So it'll be the flower part up above, and then the green starts about halfway into the plant. So it doesn't look like, when I'm painting this, it doesn't look like I'm filling it in, but I think it's a lot of the light reflection. It really is filled in. It just doesn't show on camera that it's opaque. But I am filling it in completely. I don't know if I can bring that up and show you. No, it's still reflective. That's interesting. But it is totally filled in. Okay, and then I'm going over to do these palm leaves under the moth. Oh, I made a mistake here. Well, it's okay. I covered up where the moth wing is supposed to go here, and the mushroom stems come through. Well, I can't do anything about it now because it's black on the background, and that won't work. Oh well. I hope you guys didn't follow my suit and do the same thing. Just a minor detail anyway. Go ahead and paint all the way off of the canvas so you get those extra, get all the way down to the bottom with the green. The other thing you can do, I left the edges raw so that you can fray around your canvas if you want after it's all painted. That's a cool look to make it more rustic looking. The other thing to make it rustic looking is to antique it. And I'm going to show you afterwards how to do that. To do that, it requires putting a coat of sealer on it, like a varnish or a matte medium, something to protect. You want to put a coating over the acrylic paint, and then you can antique it however you want. Okay, so this green comes out here, even though that's a bluebell. I'm running out of green. I know you guys have more green than I had. This is my third class using this green, so I will refill it. A different color green. Interesting. Okay, so we want to leave our stem. So the other thing that's different, I should have gessoed down here because the green comes over. So I'm I'm painting over it, even though there's no gesso under there. So we want to come up. I'm going to continue the white of the mushroom. Okay. Okay, the next area we're going to do are these little pink flowers up here. Then we'll do the snail body and this shell and his body. And then we'll jump over and do the ginger flower. So we want to do a mixture of pink. That would be red and white. So I'm going to scoop up some white. And add a little bit of red to that. I can just start basting it in. It is a bright pink. It does take more than you think. You gotta mix a lot. I'm using the blue brush to base it in there. Okay. Now, once you've got that all based in, we'll jump over. I'm not even going to rinse my brush. I'm just going to jump into the purple. Some of you may have a lighter purple, and some have a darker purple. If you're dark purple, your pink brush will make a nice light purple once you start stroking it in. So it's got a round circle on the back, and then it comes up, and it's got this little thing, like a little flange opening that his body's sticking out of. So it's like a round circle with an oblong shape on it too. Now his body, we're going to do just a little bit like it's purple. And then I'm going to base over it. I'm going to add some red to it to make it actually, I want to make it kind of brown. His body a little bit shaded brown. So I'm basing it in the same purple. And then I'm going to take, can't remember what color I used to make the brown. Maybe the yellow ochre. Let's just see if that works. Yeah. And you just take the yellow ochre and go over, just to dull his body down. Okay. He's got 2 antennae, and I'm just going to do that out of the same brownish purple yellow ochre color. And just go up here. And if you don't get enough paint on, it just becomes water and it disappears. So you have to get enough paint on there to stick. And he's got little circles at the top. I'm just pouncing it to make a little dot. Okay. See where you haven't gessoed, the paint just disappears into the black. So that's a good example of why it's a little difficult to paint on black. Okay. So I still got purple on this blue brush. I'm just going to jump over to this ginger. Let me make sure I'm in the screen. Okay. And you're just going to take, and I'm just going to mix it right on the ginger itself. I'm going to start with red, and I'm going to add yellow on top of it. Okay, so I'm just can start with the red. It's like we're mixing it right on top of the gesso. And because I have that lavender under there. It's a little pinky, corally color. But we don't want it to match the mushroom, so we're going to add yellow on top to get an orange color. Oops, I should have done green there. Oh, well. That little stem coming down out of the flower should probably be green, but since I didn't do it green, it's going to be red, which is fine. Okay. I'm going to take the bright yellow, and I'm just going to pounce it and blend it in. It's going to be like it's little flowers. I don't want to blend it in all the way. I want to keep it variegated. So I'm really doing just a pounce to make it look like it's hundreds of little blossoms on this ginger plant. You'll see that it gets to orange pretty quickly, but you want to keep some of the highlights of the yellow. That takes care of the ginger. And we can rinse our brush out. You can put your lid on the yellow. I don't think we're going to use that anymore. You can put your lid on the dark green. Done with that. We're done with the red. Okay, so hopefully you all have 2 blues. If not, you have 1 blue, it's a darker blue, and you can make your white to make a lighter blue. Oh, we are gonna need our purple, sorry. We can do that now. I'm gonna take the purple in with my green brush, and I'm gonna just do it might still be too wet. I'm gonna do a spiral. Adding water. I think it's still a little wet. Try to do a purple outline. guys all see that? Let me zoom in so you can see that better. Wow, it looks blue on here. I've just taken the dark purple, gone around. Okay. While I've got purple, I'm gonna just do C curves like a blossom end on those pink flowers. Okay. We're doing good. Okay, now we're done with the purple. We can put the lid on the purple. Next, we're going to do the blues. I'm just going to base, if you don't have the light blue like this, mix some of your dark blue with white to do this. We're just basing these bluebells in blue. I'm using the green brush this time because it's such tight quarters. I'm not worried about the stem right now. We'll add that at the end. You can base the leaves at the same time, just go down with the blue leaves. You have to work this green brush into the nooks and crannies of the fabric a little bit more than the blue brush. Okay. And then I'm going to do the bluebells that are on top of this leaf. They kind of flare out, and these ones I'm making larger. They're on the more mature part of the plant, so they can be larger than the ones at top. I'm just guessing where the others went, just looking at the pattern. It doesn't really matter. And then the other one comes, they're just turned every little which way. So don't make them all facing the same way. Okay. Cool. Okay. You know what? We need purple again for our butterfly. Didn't realize that. Okay. Next, we're going to be working on the moth. I used to call it a butterfly. I keep doing that. Okay, so you'll see on the pattern that it's got brown rings that designate the different places. See on this real butterfly moth, it's got some variation right here. So we're going to do a purple line and then a white line, and then some brown streaks. We've got the brown line that runs across the bottom of the wings, and then we've got these circles that have fallen out, but they were black, so we're going to be doing black on them. So to begin with, I'm going to do some lines on its head. I think to do that, I need to make a brown again. So I'll be using the yellow ochre and some red. I guess we have to use the red again. Or maybe the purple. Let's use purple, guys. Sorry about that. I think it'll look better. I'm going to actually do it on a lid. What I want is a brown. This is almost brown, but I'm just going to take a little bit of purple. That's a good color. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so this is yellow ochre and purple. And what I want to do is draw some lines on his body, on his head. I'm going to do that again. Comes in like that. We've got rings for his body, so I'm just kind of outlining where I think those segments would be. Right away we see that he's got these different little parts on his body. Okay. This line, still using this purpley brown, the line across the bottom follows the line of the wing. Oops, let me push that up. You need a lot of water for this because it's kind of sitting on top. You're just kind of going like that. Okay. Then there's a smaller line up at the top here, and it's kind of jaggedy. And it goes on both sides. Okay. That gets, I'm going to take this purple and add just a bit of white to it. And I'm going to streak, it's not enough color. I'm streaking that dusty blue, dusty pink over the top of the top portion of the wing. Okay. And then I'm actually going to take white and I'm going to follow above. I'm going to follow this purple line with white. Okay. And then while we're still on the moth, I'm going to take more purple and add it to the yellow ochre. Get kind of a lavender, and we're just going to draw lines. While we still have this brownish color, we're going to do the antennae. Let's see. I'm going to take a little bit of the black. We haven't used the black yet. It's really strong. And you're just going to do little lines radiating out, just in the top portion of the wing. And it can go on the divisions too. Okay, then we need the two small circles. I'm just using the green brush and just kind of just poking the green brush in and rotating it to try to make a circle. Okay. Now those are really stark, so we need to go back to our purpley brown color. Probably should rinse my brush. But we're just going to go around the outline of this black and tone it down a little. Okay. While we've got this gray going on, I want you to do a little bit on this mushroom. It's a kind of a cup right there on that top of that mushroom. And I'd like you to also do some lines radiating out. So we're going to keep the cap, the mushroom top, but we want to radiate out. And when we mix it, when we do the white, it'll show up more. Same with this one. Oops, I'm not even on here. Sorry, guys. And then down here at the bottom, this one. Okay. Oh, we're almost there. Yay. The last color is our white. So I'm just going to start basing in the white. Let me just start with this mushroom down here, since I'm already there. Might have to turn to the scrubby brush. Okay. We'll have to go over that gray that we just did. Kind of disappeared on me. Okay. And then this guy. Okay. So let me go out. I'm going to show you how to do the dots. We're going to take the back end of our paintbrush. So I think our green one is bigger. So I'm just dipping it and dotting. And if you don't dip every one, each little one is going to get smaller and smaller. So you can start out big and not dip and keep going, and it'll just get small. And then you also want to take a real watery brush, white, and you want to do a couple of lines going through it. Same with this one. We can add the lines before the dots. This one down here at the bottom does not get any dots, it just gets some lines. 3 lines through it. Okay. We're going to do highlights on the pink flowers. So that would be the top right side on all the flowers. The other thing I'm going to do with the white, I'm going to do kind of a dry brush. I'm just going to go through the moth with white. Not much paint on my brush. I'm going to highlight his bumps on his body. And also his head. Maybe just do the beads. I'm going to do his antennae again because they just disappeared. Okay. That's it for the white. Okay, then wipe off our end of our brush. I'm going to take the light green and now highlight our palm trees, fronds. And just dry brush it. Down here, it's going to get just on the top edges of the leaves. And then over on these palm leaves that are really big, oh, let's just do the same over on this one first, and then we'll come back to those palm leaves. These palm leaves are going to have a combination of the purple and the white as far as highlights go. So I'm going to do the purple first. I didn't rinse my brush though, so it's got some of that white green in there. Get this line going down the center where the palm leaf has its vein. Oh, we're almost done, you guys. And then same with this one. The palm leaf has a vein down the middle. And then dry brush to the sides. Then I'm going to take I'm not rinsing my brush, but I'm just going to go in and flick on top of it, the light green. Going to mix with the purple. Whoops. My brush just came apart. Okay. So the very last thing is some white swirlies. I call them swirlies. We've got to do the stem on this blue. Let's see. This stem can be done with the light green. We're just gonna go down. And then we can also do, I'm going to do white. The stems of the bluebells kind of just reach over the top of them. So it comes like this. Let's see. Oh yeah, the swirls. Okay, so they start, the snail is sitting on them. And it starts with white, and it needs to be a real watery white. Get lots of water so it's really thin. And it comes out from here. And it swirls around. Like that. It's got little tendrils on it. It goes up into the moon. It also goes, sorry, you didn't see that. It also goes above the snail. Now, if you see the reference photo that we took from Urban Outfitters, you can see that they've added stars and things. And you're more than welcome to go back and do stars. I'm not going to do that. The very last thing we need to do is put our eyeballs on our snail. And we do that with black. Again, dipping the green in there. We're just doing dots. Okay. You guys see that? Let me zoom in. I just put 2 dots of that. A lot of times people will go back and do tiny, tiny dot of white. And what that does is it actually gives life and animation to so if you do a white dot that's smaller, it really lights it up. You can see that. Okay. So I was just going to tell you in closing that there's a way to finish this off. I'm going to add some black lines under the bottom of my mushrooms. Let me see. Right here. To make it look like under the lines on the mushroom. What do you call it? And then down here also this one. So I would let this dry for a good day, maybe 2 days. And then you can seal it with some varnish or a clear sealer, clear coat if you want. Like an art medium, a flat, yeah, it's called the art medium. And something to just kind of seal it. And then you can put a little bit of brown over the top of it, or I'll show you on the one that I did before. Let me grab that. What that does is it makes it stiffer, for one thing. But you'll notice the mushrooms. I don't know if I can show up. The mushrooms are really kind of dark, and they've got some real tones to them. There's blue in the stems. You can add highlights without it soaking into the actual print. So that's kind of one way to finish it off. Or you can leave it just as is, doesn't matter. And I hope that you had fun today. So that's all I have. Let's zoom out and you can see our finished picture. So thanks for joining me today.